Summary Overview, Chapter 21, Divine Powers of Tathagata, Section 1, Paragraphs 1-9. Bodhisattva Infinite Intention asks Shakyamuni Buddha why Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is called Avalokitesvara. Note, in Sanskrit, the name Avalokitesvara means perceiver of the voices of the world. Shakyamuni Buddha explains that the Bodhisattva was able to compassionately respond to any voices, pleas, or cries of living beings so as to lend a helping hand to those in need. Hence the name Avalokitesvara. The power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is incredible. Regardless of how challenging the situations faced by people from all walks of life, the Bodhisattva is able to manifest his extraordinary divine powers to alleviate their suffering. Moreover, he is also able to transform himself into various forms that are most suited for the salvation of living beings in the Saha world. Besides, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is able to give strength and courage to people in the event of an emergency. Therefore, he is also known as the bestower of courage. Shakyamuni Buddha urges people to always keep in mind Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara for the protection and fulfillment of prayers. Key messages. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is one of the most renowned bodhisattvas in East Asia. This is due to the manifestation of his divine intervention for the salvation of living beings. Many people have direct personal experiences of the divine assistance rendered by this bodhisattva. Hence, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is the epitome of profound love and compassion toward all living beings. The title of the chapter, Universal Gateway of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, implies that many people around the world gain indirect access to the Lotus Sutra by reading and reciting this chapter. As such, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara plays a significant role in leading people to attaining Buddhahood via the Lotus Sutra. At that time, Bodhisattva Infinite Intention rose from his seat immediately, bared his right shoulder, faced the Buddha with his palms pressed, and asked, "O Bhagavath, what is the reason for Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara to be called Avalokitesvara, i.e., perceiver of the voices of the world?" The Buddha replied to Bodhisattva Infinite Intention, "My virtuous son, suppose there are immeasurable hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of living beings who are suffering from pain and grief. If they hear the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara and call his name wholeheartedly with a focused mind, then Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara will immediately respond to their voices and liberate them from suffering. If people who uphold the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara should encounter a great fire, the fire could not harm them. This is all due to the mighty divine powers of the Bodhisattva. If people who are swept away by a great flood should call upon his name, they will be moved to a shallow place immediately. Suppose there are hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of living beings who go out to the great oceans seeking gold, silver, lapis lazuli, seashells, agates, corals, ambers, pearls, and other treasures. If there is a ferocious wind that blows their ship off course, drifting to a land of Rakshasas, suppose there is only one person among these people who calls upon the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, then all those people will be saved from the danger of Rakshasas. Hence, he is called Avalokitesvara. Suppose someone on the verge of being attacked should call upon the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, then the swords and staves held by the assailants will be splintered into pieces, setting him free. Suppose there is a land full of yakshas and rakshasas seeking to cause trouble to the people in Trichiliakasam. If someone should call upon the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, then these evil demons will not be able to see him with their evil eyes, let alone harm him. Again, if someone, irrespective of whether his is guilty or not, being shackled by manacles, fetters, kangs, or chains should call upon the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, then his shackles will be destroyed, setting him free. Suppose there is a place full of malicious bandits in Trichiliakasam. Suppose a merchant chief, who leads a group of merchants carrying precious treasures, should pass by a stretch of steep and perilous road. If there is one person among the merchants who shouts, "Good men, fear not," all of you should single-mindedly call upon the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. This Bodhisattva will bestow courage to all living beings. If we call upon his name, we will be saved from the malicious bandits. Upon hearing this, the group of merchants chant loudly, devotion to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. As a result of calling his name, they will be liberated. O infinite intention! Such are the mighty and majestic divine powers of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. If there are living beings who are troubled by insatiable lust and desire, they should always cherish the reverent thought of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who will set them free of desire. If there are people who are gripped by egoistic anger and resentment, they should always cherish the reverent thought of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who will liberate them from egoistic anger and resentment. If there are people who are dim-witted, they should always cherish the reverent thought of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who will rid them of foolishness. O infinite intention! Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara possesses such mighty divine powers that bring benefits to many people. Hence, living beings should always be mindful of him. If there are women who wish to give birth to a son, they should worship by giving offerings to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, who will bestow them a son blessed with good fortune, virtue, and wisdom. If they wish to have a daughter, they will have a beautiful and adorable daughter blessed with accumulated benevolent roots. O infinite intention! Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara has the power to do all this. If there are living beings who reverently worship Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, their good fortunes and blessings will not be in vain. Hence, all living beings should accept and embrace the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. O infinite intention! If there are people who accept and embrace the names of 6.2 billion Ganges as sands of bodhisattvas throughout their lives by offering food and beverages, clothing, bedding, and medicines, what do you think will be the amount of merits received by these virtuous men and women? Infinite intention replied to the Buddha, O Bhagavath. Their merits will be abundant. The Buddha said, if there are people who accept and embrace the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, including those who worship or give offerings once in a blue moon, the blessings of these two groups of people will be identical and their blessings will not be exhausted for hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of kalpas. O infinite intention! All these are the immeasurably boundless blessings, merits, and benefits achieved by accepting and embracing the name Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. Bodhisattva Infinite Intention asked the Buddha, O Bhagavath. How does Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara travel in the Saha world? How does he expound the Dharma for all living beings? How is the power of expedient methods relevant and applicable in this context? The Buddha replied to Bodhisattva Infinite Intention, my virtuous son. If living beings need the body of a Buddha for their salvation, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara will instantly appear as a Buddha to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a Pratyabuddha for salvation, he will instantly appear as a Pratyabuddha to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a Shravaka for salvation, he will instantly appear as a Shravaka to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of King Brahma for salvation, he will instantly appear as King Brahma to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of Lord Shakra for salvation, he will instantly appear as Lord Shakra to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of Ishvara for salvation, he will instantly appear as Ishvara to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of Maheshvara for salvation, he will instantly appear as Maheshvara to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a great general of heaven for salvation, he will instantly appear as a great general of heaven to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of Vaishravana for salvation, he will instantly appear as Vaishravana to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of an ordinary king for salvation, he will instantly appear as an ordinary king to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of an elder for salvation, he will instantly appear as an elder to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a citizen for salvation, he will instantly appear as a citizen to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a chief minister for salvation, he will instantly appear as a chief minister to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a Brahmin for salvation, he will instantly appear as a Brahmin to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a monk, nun, lay male disciple, or lay female disciple for salvation, he will instantly appear as a monk, nun, lay male disciple, or lay female disciple to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of the wife of an elder, the wife of a citizen, the wife of a chief minister, or the wife of a Brahmin for salvation, he will instantly appear as the wife of an elder, the wife of a citizen, the wife of a chief minister, or the wife of a Brahmin to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a young boy or a young girl for salvation, he will instantly appear as a young boy or a young girl to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a heavenly god, a dragon, a Yiksha, a Gandharva, an Asura, a Garuda, a Kimnara, a Maharaga, a human, or a non-human being for salvation, he will instantly appear as any of these beings to expound the Dharma for them. If they need the body of a diamond-holding god for salvation, he will instantly appear as a diamond-holding god to expound the Dharma for them. O infinite intention! This Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara has accomplished merits by transforming into various forms and traveling throughout the lands to save living beings. Hence, all of you should wholeheartedly give offerings to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is able to bestow courage in the fearful event of an emergency. Therefore, in the Saha world, everyone calls him the bestower of courage. Bodhisattva Infinite Intention said to the Buddha, O Bhagavath, I must now make offerings to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. Having said this, he immediately took the necklace bedecked with numerous precious jewels worth hundreds or thousands of gold from his neck and presented it to the Bodhisattva, saying, O benevolent sir, please accept this rare jeweled necklace as a Dharma gift. At that moment, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara did not accept the gift. Infinite Intention said to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara once more, O benevolent sir, out of your compassion for us, please accept this necklace. The Buddha spoke to Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, out of your compassion for Bodhisattva Infinite Intention and the four groups, heavenly gods, dragons, Yikshas, Gandharvas, Asuras, Garudas, Kimnaras, Maharagas, humans, and non-humans beings, you should accept this necklace. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara accepted the necklace at once because of his compassion for the four groups, heavenly gods, dragons, humans, non-humans beings, and the rest. Splitting the necklace into two, he presented one to Shakyamuni Buddha and the other one to the Pagoda of Abundant Treasures Buddha. O Infinite Intention! With such effortless divine powers, Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara travels around the Saha world. At that time, Bodhisattva Infinite Intention asked the question in stanzas. O Bhagavath! The one perfectly endowed with splendid features. Allow me to ask you once again. For what reason is the son of the Buddha named Avalokitesvara? The Bhagavath, who was perfectly endowed with splendid features, replied to Infinite Intention in stanzas. Summary Overview, Chapter 25, Universal Gateway of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, Section 2, Paragraphs 1 to 25. Shakyamuni Buddha speaks in poetic stanzas about the compassionate actions of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. Listen. Here are the actions of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. He responds to different needs of people in different places. His profound vow is as deep as the ocean, as inconceivable as innumerable kalpas. He has attended to thousands of billions of Buddhas, and has made a great pure vow. I shall now describe to you in brief. Upon hearing his name and witnessing his body, you should be mindful of him at all times, and all your suffering will be extinguished. If there are people who wish to harm you by pushing you into the great pit of inferno, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. The inferno pit will be transformed into a water pond. If you are drifting in a great ocean and facing imminent danger with dragons, fishes, and other demons, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. The waves will be unable to swallow you. If you are at the summit of Mount Sumeru, and someone pushes you off the edge, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. You will be suspended in midair like the sun in the sky. If you are being chased by evil men, and fall from Diamond Mountain. Be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. You will not be harmed, even a single hair. If you are surrounded by evil bandits and robbers, each of them holding a knife wishing to harm you, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. Compassion will instantly be awakened in their hearts. If you are suffering from the punishment of a king, and your life is about to end by execution, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. The sword will be splintered into pieces. If you are being locked in a prison, and your hands and feet are being bound by chains and fetters, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. You will be released and freed. If there are people who wish to harm you by curses or poisonous herbs, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. The effects will be bounced back to the originator. If you face harm from vicious rakshasas, poisonous dragons, or various demons, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. No one will dare to harm you. If you are surrounded by evil beasts, with sharp fangs and fearful dermas, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. They will quickly flee and scamper away in all directions. If lizards, snakes, scorpions, and vipers wish to harm you with their poisonous breath like a searing fire, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. They will retreat as per your command. If there is thunder and lightning in the clouds, or even torrential rain, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. They will instantly vanish. If living beings are trapped in afflictions, and driven by immeasurable pains, the wonderful wisdom and power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara will deliver them from suffering. Perfect in his divine powers, he has mastered the wisdom of expedient methods. Everywhere in the 10 directions, there is no place where he does not appear. All demons and evils, and those in the state of hell, hungry spirit and beast, who are suffering from birth, aging, illness, and death, will gradually be quelled. He who perceives the world with truth and purity, profound wisdom, benevolence, and compassion, is the one to whom you should pray and gaze upon with reverence. He is the pure ray of light, immaculate and spotless. He is the sun of wisdom that banishes all darkness. He could subdue disasters of wind and fire, illuminating the worlds with splendid brightness. He has a merciful body that roars like thunder. He has a will of compassion, as magnificent as the great clouds. He rains down the sweet dew of Dharma, extinguishing all flames of suffering and anxiety. If you have disputes before the court, or are fearful in the midst of the war, be mindful of the power of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. All enemies full of resentment will retreat. Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara is endowed with the most enchanting voice, just like the voice of Brahma and the sound of rolling tides. A voice that is the most unsurpassed in the world. Thus, all of you should always be mindful of him. Have no doubts whatsoever. Always be mindful of the holy and pure Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara. He is the one in whom you can take refuge. In the throes of suffering, agony, death, and calamity. Perfect in all-encompassing merits. He views all living beings with the eyes of compassion. Infinite is his ocean of blessings. All of you should worship him. At that moment, Bodhisattva upholder of the earth rose from his seat immediately and said in front of the Buddha, O Bhagavath, if there are living beings who hear this chapter of Bodhisattva Avalokitesvara, his effortless deeds, his universal manifestation of divine powers as the universal gateway to the Lotus Sutra, one should know that the merits and blessings accumulated by these people will be abundant. When the Buddha expounded this chapter of Universal Gateway, 84,000 people in the assembly conceived the aspiration of attaining supreme perfect enlightenment.